Senator Gary Peters didn't hold back. He called out a withdrawn IG nominee for a long history of racist, sexist, and anti-Semitic statements, calling the behavior absolutely disgusting. But this hearing is about more than one nominee. Peters exposed a deeper problem: the Trump administration's repeated attacks on independent oversight. 18 inspectors general were fired without explanation, whistleblower protections undermined, funding withheld, and even the Government Accountability Office publicly disparaged. These aren't just isolated incidents. They're a pattern that threatens the very institutions designed to keep government accountable. This is about the integrity of oversight, the protection of whistleblowers, and whether the American people can trust that anyone is watching power.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome to each of our nominees, and congratulations on your nominations. I'd like to start with the nomination that we're not considering today. I'm glad that Paul Ingracia's nomination to lead the Office of Special Counsel has been withdrawn. The racist messages Mr. Ingracia reportedly sent in a private chat are absolutely disgusting. Mr. Ingracia has said that he is being smeared unfairly and that those messages lack context. But let's be clear, there's no context that makes the use of racial slurs okay. And even without these messages, we also have hundreds of racist, sexist, anti-Semitic statements by Mr. Ingracia that he has made publicly in his short career. His clear pattern of bigoted and inflammatory rhetoric, along with his complete lack of any relevant experience, is wholly disqualifying. Paul Ingracia should have never been nominated for such a critical oversight role, but his insistence, I think, just exemplifies the Trump administration's outright contempt for independent oversight. Since taking office, this administration has attacked every key institution charged with rooting out government waste, fraud, and abuse. In January, President Trump illegally fired 18 inspectors general without any explanation to Congress and dismissed another IG last week, again without legally required justification. Last month, the administration withheld funding for the Inspector General community, literally shutting down online portals for whistleblowers to report corruption, fraud, or wasteful spending. When Congress pushed back, a spokesman for the Office of Management and Budget did not have a good answer. The President has fired top officials at the Office of Special Counsel and the Merit Systems Protection Board, agency charged with protecting whistleblowers who expose waste, fraud, and abuse. This administration has repeatedly attacked the nonpartisan Government Accountability Office, just last month saying it should not exist. Government accountability should not exist, in the President's words. These are agencies that Congress created to hold the President and the executive branch accountable, to ensure that the federal government is indeed serving the American people and not the whims of a pocketbook of the President or his political cronies. To the three Inspector General nominees today, I am concerned about your ability to conduct effective oversight, given the President's attacks on IG independence. Congress D'Esposito, in particular, you have made no effort to address concerns that you are a partisan operative. You have even submitted an opening statement to this committee that includes a pledge to carry out the President's agenda as an Inspector General. This betrays a very deep misunderstanding of the role of what an IG actually is, to say nothing of the laundry list of misconduct allegations that has been made against you in your career. To the other nominees, I also have concerns and questions about the important roles you have been nominated for. Unfortunately, a hearing with 8 nominees and 5 minutes for questions severely limits members' abilities to get answers to important questions and to have meaningful exchanges, and it certainly limits public transparency into the committee's nomination process, which I'm sure was the intent of the chairman. Still, I want to thank all your nominees for being here today, and I look forward to hearing from each of you.
What we saw from Senator Gary Peters in this hearing is a stark reminder of why oversight matters in a functioning democracy. He didn't just call out a withdrawn nominee for racist messages. He exposed a broader problem. What happens when the people entrusted with holding government accountable are either unfit or loyal first to politics instead of the law? The nominee in question, Paul Gracia, reportedly sent racist messages in private chats and has a documented history of public statements that are sexist, anti-Semitic, and inflammatory. Peters made it crystal clear there is no context that makes such rhetoric acceptable, and it cannot be ignored when considering someone for a role that supervises integrity and accountability in government. This isn't simply about personal morality, it's about institutional trust. Inspectors General, the Office of Special Counsel, and the Merit Systems Protection Board exist to protect whistleblowers, prevent corruption, and ensure that the federal government follows the law. When nominees pledge loyalty to the president's agenda rather than the rules and independent oversight, it signals a fundamental misunderstanding or disregard for the principles these offices were created to uphold. Peters also highlighted a disturbing pattern over the course of this administration. Since taking office, multiple inspectors general have been fired without explanation. Funding for oversight offices has been withheld, and whistleblower reporting channels have been shut down. Even the Government Accountability Office, one of the oldest nonpartisan watchdog agencies in Washington, has faced public disparagement. These are not isolated incidents. They are systematic attacks on the mechanisms designed to keep government accountable. For viewers, understanding this goes beyond political headlines. Oversight isn't just a bureaucratic function, it's a safeguard for democracy itself. When IGs and watchdog agencies are weakened or compromised, corruption and abuse can grow unchecked. Public trust erodes because citizens lose confidence that anyone is watching power and enforcing rules fairly. Peters' forceful condemnation shows what happens when a nominee fails both the moral and professional test. Not only is the individual unfit for the role, but the very institutions they would oversee are at risk. This hearing also teaches an important lesson about the limits of partisanship in oversight. Peters' remarks underscore that protecting accountability isn't about politics. It's about preserving a system where laws are applied fairly, whistleblowers are protected, and government power cannot be weaponized for personal or political gain. Understanding the history of these offices, why they exist, how they've protected the public, and what happens when they are undermined is essential for every citizen who wants to make sense of modern governance. If you want to follow the truth behind the headlines, to see who is protecting the public and who is threatening accountability, stay informed, share this analysis, and subscribe to Left Lens. We go beyond the sound bites to show you what really matters, why it matters, and what to watch for next.